Easy, easy, easy. Today is the day that the United Nations set apart for all of us to look again at the problem of drug abuse and trafficking and the problem it causes in our society. This year, the theme is the evidence is clear. Invest in treatment, in prevention. That means even though we are arresting people, even though we are sending people to jail, but what are people that are already using the drugs? What do we do to them? That is why we must, number one, talk to people so that those who have not started using the drug will not use it. And those that already started using, so that we can help them to recover. And we thought there's no better place to share this message apart from the palace of our royal father, since you are the closest to our people. So whatever we are doing, you can have the royal blessing. And you can also use your offices to help us talk to our youth and all the people around not to indulge in abuse of drugs. And anybody that's already using drugs, to seek help. The problem of drugs is open to all of us. All the criminality, all the increase in rate of divorce, all thuggery and every other thing that are not good for society comes, a drug help them. Let me tell you, sir, this year, between June last year and June this year, we arrested about 53 people with a total seizure of 277 kilograms. Sir, most of these drugs, they are going to Zurumi, Kauranamoda, Dansadol, and Shinkafi. And we all know what is happening in those houses. That means the drug is helping the bandits to continue their war. And that is why we are seeking your support as Royal Father. We want you also be able to be our mouth to speak to our people to desist from either using drug or trafficking drugs. The two of them, they will not bring peace to our community. May God make peace to reign in Gusau, in Zamfara State, and in Nigeria. Thank you so much, sir. It's a day that has been set aside by the United Nations to mark the World Drug Day. And one of the things, several programs are lined up for a day like this. But today, the focus for this year is invest in prevention. The evidence is clear, invest in prevention. We know that the people that use drug, they are not more in number like people that do not use drugs. So those of us that do not use drugs, it's our responsibility to spread the message to others so that people will not indulge in drugs. Now, it is also possible that some people are already using drugs. Prevention will help us to help them by treatment and to rehabilitate them so that they can become useful to themselves and in society. And that's why we are here at the palace to solicit the support of our royal fathers, being the closest to our people, so that we can draw their support. We want them to be one of the pressure group that can speak to our people on the dangers of abuse of drugs and illicit trafficking. That's principally why we're here.
Sir, you said the last 1 year you arrested 53.
The majority of drugs that we have seized over the last 1 year is cannabis sativa. But what we observe is that there is an increase in the quantity of psychotropic substances, especially Trammadol, that we seized this year if you compare to last year. This year we seized Trammadol and other psychotropic substances totaling about 78.5 kg. And we discover that most of the drugs, they are going to the hotspot of banditry, namely Zurumi, Dansadol, Karamoda, and Shinkafi. Majority of the people trafficking these drugs are taking drugs to this enclave. So we arrested cannabis and we seized psychotropic substances. And 53 people were arrested with those drugs. Yeah, we continue to do our enforcement, carry out our enforcement duties, continue to do our interdiction on the roads. And for this year, 48 of these people have been prosecuted. But you know, over the years, there are some pending cases. There are about 98, which are still pending before the courts. But for this year, about 48 people were successfully convicted.
That we come out and tell our people the bad of drug abuse. Initially, we've been seeing it that only to people that were concerned, the family that were affected. But we come to understand that it's going to affect the whole world. Because in our community now, you cannot go to village market, you cannot go to farm. And as I said before the emir, that any banditry attack, there must be an influence of drugs. If you go to their area where they were chased out, you find out that the drugs there were higher than food. That means there is an influence of drugs there. And anybody that were caught will tell you that without drugs he cannot perform. So in this case, it is for everybody's attention to be there and to fight against the drug abuse. That is to our benefit. And when we look at the situation religiously, to all religion, the abuse of drugs is an influential. If we look, without drugs, you cannot perform any unneeded event. If you take drugs, you can even go and did an adultery. If you take drugs, you can go and kill. If you take drugs, you can go out of your sense and did anything that is not allowed. So in this case, this is an everybody's hands on the decks. It's not what do I think, it's what we have been doing. As far as Zamfara State is concerned, if today you see any chemist selling hard drugs, let us know, we can close it, we can call pharmacy to seize his license. And that's what we have been doing. You understand? That is why I open my chest and hit and say, no any shop now that sell illicit drugs. But we believe there are people trafficking it. We call on the attention of everybody to come into our rescue.
And we came out with the NDLEA to sensitize the entire community about the dangers of illegal drugs and all it entails. So we using this opportunity to talk to the youths about abstaining from drugs and everything that has to relate to illegal drugs and all of that. And we are using this as an opportunity to also talk to everybody, not just the youths, everybody involved in drug abuse, drug activities, illegal drugs, because that's what the NDLEA is all about. So we are just using this as an opportunity to talk to everyone, not just the youths, to abstain for every form of illegal drugs, the trafficking and all of that, the taking of all of them. So thank you so much. Exactly. This is why we all came out, to actually sensitize the entire community, to ensure that when everybody is aware that this is what has been happening, then there will be possible ways to actually identify loopholes and try to put, when the community people are involved in trying to track those people who are involved in all this trafficking of drugs, it will go a long way to help the NDLEA, NAFDAC and all of that. Because when the community people are the one reporting back to these bodies, I think it will go a long way for every one of us and the entire community as a whole. Yes, because presently now we just started. This is just the beginning of what we are doing, and we as the Nigerian Youth Service Corps members, we are joining hands together with these bodies, not just NDLEA, also NAFDAC too, to ensure that we sensitize the entire community. And as it stands, NDLEA is doing a nice job and they are actually pivotal with their affairs.